What's up, guys? Nick Landry back for another 10K challenge episode, and we're back on Bravado doing 3 tables of 100 NL, and just got in the blinds on all the tables down here. This is we haven't been here, so we're just gonna go ahead and make a statement at the table that we're gonna put some pressure out of position, and I think it's best just to let him go ahead and define his hand. If he probably shoves, I think we'll probably end up folding. We got a call here, so we hit our set. We got Jack 10. We're probably going to keep him in line here, and if he's got Ace Queen, we're probably just going to get it in. He did not, but there I'd like to go ahead and just bet, especially with the draw. If he has like a 10-8 or anything like that, he's going to call. So in that sense, if he's going to call or fold, we'll go ahead and just bet and kind of price in somewhat of the draw. And kind of just price in somewhat of that draw and to get him to maybe commit some more chips into the pot. If he hits, then we can kind of just cautiously play the hand like the straight comes in either way, and then hopefully the board might pair up on the river, and then we can probably win a monster pot. But, you know, he folded out. I still like just go ahead and bet into him there. And not really got any reads yet on anybody. Just, again, we just started, just went through the blinds, got all the tables going. Surprisingly, though, for Monday night, that I had a lot of tables going on. So, very pleased to see that, some traffic pickup on Bravado. And if you guys, again, as always, we say in the weekly update, if you don't have an account on there and wish to open one, there's a link down below. There's some great sign-up bonuses. You can get up to a 100% new player bonus. So if you put on $300, you're going to get a match that at $300. So they'll do it up to $1,000. So it's a good little bonus. And right now they got a good promotion going on where for every 25 points you get, and you rack up and you get $10, putting your account up to $200 in the next, it's roughly about 30 days. Don't have the exact date it ends out, but you start playing now and you're playing a decent number of hands, you're going to clear out that bonus very quickly. Again, we're trying to get a little bit of a feel for the table before we start opening up a little bit lighter. 10-8 I wouldn't mind if we have some tight people behind. Like player 5 hasn't seen open hand, and then looks like he might have tried to squeeze, and then to get the limper at least heads up to where he can maybe bet, c-bet. But then player 1, who hasn't played much, also might be picking up that he did that and actually 4-bet him either strong or he's done it very lightly. Be interesting to see this, what player 5's action here is. I'm pretty excited. The Olympic trials started tonight, so got that taping while we're playing, and go watch that in a little bit. So, for some reason, if we did like bet and he called, then we had a decent little flop there, but we did not. Again, up here, 6-5 offsuit, we're just going to check our option. These two guys are the loosest we've seen at the table, so no reason to really bet it. And get crazy with them. If there was only one, if there was like a person sitting out in here too on this table, we would open our Queen 10 for sure. And again, we're going to kind of watch what player 5 and 4 do. They seem to be a little bit on the tighter side. But we'll definitely watch what they do, so we can maybe start opening up our Queen 10 suited. Table up here on the right, upper table, looks like everybody here seems to be pretty well not committing much, so it might be a table where we do expand our range a little bit, just to kind of open the table up. That's one thing we look to do. Unfortunately here, we do have King Queen, but we did get a short stacker, so I mean it's pretty much if we hit top pair, I think we'll probably go with it. I would assume if he had like ace king, something like that, he would have definitely probably raised us. So with that, we're going to go ahead and fire off with the ace being on the board, and if he does anything funky, it's an easy fold. But because of the reading that he would have probably raised with the ace based on the stack size, I mean, we'll get more information as we go around, but we're just going to play it as generic type and just go ahead and c-bet into him, figuring that if he did have a hand with an ace of some strong ace, he would have raised there. He might have had an ace suited or like an ace 2, 3, or 4, or 5 in his hand, but we're going to bet into him on that type of board a lot, and he's going to fold out. But if we sit here and we've been playing like, I don't know, 40 hands or so, and we see him calling with a weak ace in some spots, just flatting with it, then we know not to bet into him on those type of boards. And we're still moving on up in the 10K challenge. As of the last weekly update, we did break the $9,000 mark and was able to play one session since then, and I think we booked a little bit over $100. So we are now under $900 left to go in the 10K challenge. And I've been thinking about this for a while, and what we're going to do is probably once we get within $200 or so of the final, we're probably going to tape every single hand from there on out. Good for you guys. It'll be free still, and you'll kind of get to see the final hands of the 10K challenge. And here, this guy has been very loose, and so any kind of Broadway hands that I can be suited, especially with a king suited, I'm going to be calling him a lot because he's going to be paying us off a higher percentage than other people will. So it'll be interesting here to see how this hand plays out, because this guy hasn't played much and he actually led, and then this guy actually min raised him up. So should be an interesting. Love to see showdown on that hand. We may not, but guess we didn't. And yeah, I guess you're going to have to assume this guy, with him playing tight range, he'd probably bet his flush draw, and then this guy like so here we got a decent hand, and we're just looking, saying we're going to isolate to him, but we want him to call our bet. So, and player 5 over here called 2. So, you know, really the ace is about the only card we are really worried about right now. And we might even get call. These guys are very loose, like I said. And as long as the board don't double pair, or there's nothing like suited connectors cards, we're probably going to push our hand pretty hard. So it's going to be interesting. Don't know what player 1's sitting around for. And 6-say, I don't see a reason. So, you know, the spade draw is definitely going to call here, and then 9-7, things like that. So we're going to price it in on a bit of higher side. And I mean, if he had said, 63 shots, we definitely call. If so 5-7 comes in there, and 2 pair still beats us, we're still going to push her in pretty hard. And again, if player 5 shoves, we're calling, and then if player 2 calls, so that completes the straight. I don't think he's going to call anything else. And with this board, you know, all the hands we talked about, you know, it's unfortunate. I love the value bet him here. And if he does raise us, we're going to have to call. So we can maybe shoot for value. I mean, it definitely puts 2 pair in his hand. I think we're going to just check, see what he turns up. So 10-9. He was on the flush draw. I mean, that's type of hand, but we'd hated for him to have like the 8 and then something else. And then, and definitely I could fold there if the spade comes in, because definitely him or player hit. Listen at me, can't talk today. Been a long one, been a rough day. So definitely player 2 or 5 was on the flush draw. There's just nothing else, or a straight draw. they had a set, then they had a set, and that's so be it. And I don't think any reason for us to sandbag. I mean, if they have a 10, they're probably calling, and anything else. So if he has aces, he'll probably call. But we're just going to value bet. If he has queen jack, he calls. So now here, we're just going to go ahead and put him all in. We want to just get his money in as bad as we can. And the reason when he made that bet, and it's because he's been playing crazy like. It's not the reason we called the way we did. We had position on him for one. Plus this guy's been coming along, which, he could have folded or he could have not have folded. Either way. But the thing is, again, this guy, if our hand plays very well against him, and it's a hand that we can easily get away from very easily too. It's not like we're going to invest a lot of money. And if we flop something hard like we did, then we know we can get him to pay us off a lot higher than most of the other people at the table. So interesting. So we're in a big blind, and it looks like we got the big blind special. This guy's short, so we're going to dump her 4. So we're actually going to call here with an open-ended. So unless somebody's got the boat, I'm going to assume we got the best hand unless 6-4 is out there. So we're going to bet a half pot to where we can get a call out of the 7s. I see no reason for this guy to bet $3 in this pot unless he has a heart. And there's an unfortunate heart. We're going to see what he does because $6. I don't see why he would bet the king there, and he'd probably beat us with the ace on the river. But there's no reason if he had the king that he would want to bet pot, I wouldn't assume. Some people would. I mean, they're just when they had a strong hand, but most people are going to try to figure, oh, well, I flopped a set of kings. There's no way he's going to call a pot bet. So let me change that bet up. And so they will change the bet sizes. When they bet pot, it's a lot easier to discredit them on having the king. So even though we had a weak kicker with our queen, we're just going to control the pot. We're not going to go crazy. We're going to see how he goes. So calling 2 streets there, the heart did come in. So it should also scare him in that instance that he's going to try to get away from it. And then player 4, he's a little loose, but he has folded a lot. He's mostly playing in position. He's not really playing out of position, which he would have been in position to us, but sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. So he would have been in position to us, so he could have called with a little marginal hand, but most of the time he's calling when he has a little bit of some kind of a drawing hand or connecting hand or pocket pairs of some sort. Here we're just going to call. Again, stack sizing. We don't want to bloat the pot too much and then get him to overcommit with an ace of some sort. Or so here we're actually going to take a stab at this with the 8. And if he has queen jack or something like that, he's easily given those type of hands up. And he's very passive post flop. That's something that we talked about earlier where we bet into him with the ace game. So when we went check and he didn't take a stab, it's pretty much a low card came. He's pretty much telling us, take it away, go ahead and pick it up. So we did. And again, we're just kind of waiting on some decent hands, and player 2's calmed down just a little bit. But we actually, if we look at this table, it's pretty close to an ideal setup of where you would want to be. And so with that said, let's take a look at the people we're playing against. We got a very tight, and then guy here, he's not playing too many hands, but then post flop, he's not really getting crazy in the pot. So if you want somebody to have position on you, that would be a great guy. And we can easily steal blinds from him. Now, player 5 over here is a little loose, but and then we're going to raise our ace king down here. We'll play this hand and we'll get back to explaining why this. You want to look for tables just like this up here. And of course we get ace queen on the other table. So and there's just no way I can fold. If he's got us beat, he's got us beat. But we're definitely going to call that. So it's a splitteroo on that. And then over here we're definitely going to open raise that. But, you know, when we got a short stacker like that, he's going to be shoving any pocket pair and things like that into us. So we got 2 callers out of position with, 9, 10, 9, which this board is very wet. There's just nothing for us to really do. We can't make any kind of plays from here on out. We're getting all the draws to call. This is totally in their range of what they could call with. So easy dump, easy fold with their ace queen. And then somebody could actually have the 10 at this point, which could be player 1. Again, he's very passive, but you got to put him on some type of draw at this time. And we might actually get to see the hand at showdown. So let's check it out. And so you get to see there's the draw, and there's the guy who hit the 9, which he should bet his 9s. If we were going to analyze that, you know, we would say it's kind of like when the kings came. We can pretty much discredit the 10 out of his hand. It's a weak 9 of some sort that we're going to give him credit for. So could we beat that at that time? No, but we did have some overs, so think of it that way. But there's so many other hands that he's going to be playing the exact same way. All his draws, he's going to play that way. So it's not like we could sit there and really think that we're going to have the best hand, even if we hit our queen at that point or something. Okay, back to this table. This reason this is a good setup. We have player 5 is the only thing that makes this table not be the perfect table to sit at. And he's very loose, so we can't steal blinds from him as we could from player 4. So we have to be a little bit more selective, but the thing is he's very passive post flop too, so he's like, he'll call and then give up to a c-bet at a pretty good percentage of a rate. So we can still play a pretty wide range opening from the button and stuff, and then if he does call, you know, there's a lot of flops that we can c-bet on that he's just going to fold out on. And then the same thing, this guy, player 6, is very tight, and he's aggressive post flop. So, but he's somebody who we could steal blinds from very easily too. And look at that, we won with our ace high. Didn't have to do anything. We just sit here and talk and can win hands. So, you know, that makes this setup very good. And then our very loose players, we're getting act after them the majority of the time. So now here, by me raising, I don't think I'm going to get enough people to fold out. So we're actually just going to flat call here with our 10s. And again, you know, our 10s are one of those hands where if we did raise and this flop comes, we've just pretty much wasted our raise of like $16 or so. So, and this is just sad that we're going to have to fold to $2 into 16. So there's somebody who's probably decently got a hand out of that. But again, you know, it's just one of those hands where if we're going to play it, we're calling here. We wouldn't raise because we know these guys are going to call at a high percentage. So we're just going to be burning through money. And a min raise. And again, we're looking at short stacks. Here we can go ahead and raise, and if he shoves on us, we can easily fold. But we didn't raise the bigger percentage we usually would, especially for out of pot. And then player 6, actually. So we would assume that he's probably calling with any maybe smaller, but we're going to kind of get to the point. We're going to go ahead and bet here, but if anything gets crazy, we're just totally done with the hand. If he like all of a sudden raises, we'll fold out our hand. So he's calling with any of his flush draws, his overs. So here we actually picked up a gut shot, and if he has like pocket 9s or something like that, he's definitely going to be calling too. So if he does anything weird, we just fold out the hand, we let it go. And this is our last thing. So if he actually would not fold here, we would actually just go ahead and check the last card because he is calling with pocket nines or jacks at that point. If he had queens, kings, or ace king, he's probably raising. He might have had like ace jack suited, ace 10 suited, maybe ace queen offsuit. Again, he's a tighter player and he's not really aggressive, so he's going to be somebody who can fold post flop, so we can actually continue aggression there against him. Let's see what else we got going on. So we finished up our table up here about why it was the best setup of everything, and then our table down here. It's an okay table. It's not ideal by no means. We have player 4 we can definitely open up against, and then player 5's new, but his stack size is pretty small, so it's not like we can open, but we got to be a little bit careful about our open range. But the thing is a lot of these short stackers, if we see him not playing a lot of hands, he did post out of position. Early post, so he's gonna have to pay again. But we can open up and see now it just kind of changes our game plan. So with him limping and stuff like that, we can't open our opening range on the button where we're trying to steal the blinds and take down the blinds. We're going to have to narrow that down because he's going to call so much. But if we notice he's starting to fold a lot to C-bets, then we can actually expand that range out a little bit more and pick up on a lot of boards, or know that later in the hand. But thing is, once you get past the flop bet, and if you decide you're going to throw another one out there, you better have some type of equity in that hand, because you look at his stack sizes, you're pretty much going to call that river bet if he actually ends up shoving into you. And unless you're on just a draw and you miss, but if you have like second pair with a strong kicker, something like that, you're probably going to have to call that river bet. Just because of stack size, and you'd have so much money into the pot at that time. Yeah, we're gonna let go of this hand. The reason we're letting go of it, if this guy had like $90 some or $100, I don't mind go ahead and 3-betting with a 4-5 of hearts in that position. So if they do call, then we know we got some playable hand, which probably is nowhere going to hit there. If we hit, we know that we pretty much got the strong hand. So if like he's playing around with pocket tens and come a low flop like that, where we flop 2 pair or something like that, or a strong heart draw or open-ended draw, and we were betting into him, we'd probably just go ahead and get the rest of our money in there against him at that time. But because of his stack size so small, it's not just, we're not going to win that much money. So we're not going to, why invest that just to win $20 some? I'd rather win, if I'm going to play that hand that way, I want it to where when I do play it, I can make a bigger percentage of my money versus, oh, I played it, I beat you out of $22, and that's going to lose over the long run of poker. All right, guys. Well, I think this is a good stopping point for this episode. So until next time, good luck at the tables.